Welcome to another video. So in this video, we're actually going to be looking at your sound deadening and insulation and the technique that we use. Now, we know online there are lots of different techniques. We're going to show you our techniques, but we will also explain the reasons why we do it the way we do it. The first thing we actually need to add to the van is our sound deadening. Now, sound deadening, a sticky back mat, and you can get it in either sheet form or you can get it in roll form. So sound deadening is applied to the single skins on the panels of your van. Now, to start with, you're looking to put it to around 30 to 50% of that particular panel. And what sound deadening does is it will reduce the amount of noise and vibrations that come through these panels. So if I show you, I have got two panels here, one with sound deadening, one without. I'm going to knock the two panels and you can see the difference between the one with the sound deadening and the one without. So you could see this side was a lot tinnier than the sound deadened side. Now, you don't need to actually sound deaden every area within the van. We're going to look at any sort of big open single skin panels, your big panels in the middle, and also your panels on the bottom. And we will also do the doors. So your rear doors and your sliding door, again, big open panels, we're gonna do these. What we're not gonna do is we're not gonna do the ceiling, and you may have noticed if you watched the last video of us doing the floor, we never put it on the floor. The reason for that is both of these have ridges, and that is actually what the ridges are for. The ridges are there for strength, but also sound deadening. So you give that a tap, you can tell it's a very deep thud, very rigid. We don't need to sound deaden that. That is going to have some insulation put on it, which is already going to increase the density of the panel. So we're just going to be focusing the walls and the doors. So you can see we've already made a start on doing this, and as I said earlier, 30 to 50% is ample. Now, the sound deadening isn't particularly expensive. It's a fairly cheap product really for a van, but it does weigh quite a lot. Like if I was to pick up this roll here, that's a good 20 kilograms. So it is heavy. So this is where you do want to be monitoring how much you're putting on. You don't need to put too much on, you know, put some on, give it a knock with your knuckle and see what it sounds like. If you're starting to get that nice thick sound, you've got enough on there. So when putting your sound deadening on, just put it on by your hand, but do be careful because these edges can be quite sharp and you can slice your fingers. But once that's on, all we're going to use then is a roller like this, and we're just going to make sure that that is fully adhered onto the panel, and you need to do this for all your sheets, making sure then we've got a good contact between the sound deadening and the van. You don't need to watch me sound deaden this van, it's very straightforward. So we'll jump on now to the stage after the sound deadening is done, which is our thermo lining. Okay, so that is now all the sound deadening complete. You'll see I haven't got any in these top bits. There's a rib here which creates sound deadening. So as I said a moment ago, just give it a tap. You can tell the difference between a deadened panel and a non-deadened panel. Don't forget to do your rear doors and up top. And the usual one most people always forget is the sliding door, because it's open, because this is where you come in and out. So don't forget to do your sliding door as well. And the last place is just above the headliner. Sound deadening is all complete in this van. You may have noticed we haven't done the two panels here. That's because that's going to be an interior pocket for the bed, so we'll show you later on in the series what happens there. So now we're going to start our thermo lining insulation. So thermo lining is a foil backed insulation. It's self-adhesive on the back, and what's important when you get this is it is a closed cell insulation, so it's not going to allow water in. And what we're going to be doing is looking to cover all the single skin panels, including the roof. So we'll do all along here now in the thermo liner. But before we do the thermo liner, because we're going to start on the walls, these uprights here have some space behind them. So all we're going to do, you can see I've done one here. We're going to get some thermo fleece that looks like this, and we're just going to fill in all those little bits along the single skins, ready for us to put the thermo liner on. So when you're feeding this in, it's important you don't do it too thick. You want it to be fairly loose. Now you want to fill the space, but you don't want to compact it, because the more you compact it, the less you're going to be able to allow that to breathe, but you actually make the insulation less effective by not having air pockets inside the insulation as well. So you're literally just feeding it in, so it's just nice and loose, but the space is filled. Now, before we do the thermal liner, I'm going to show you one more thing that we do when putting this thermal liner on, but I'm going to show you why we do it. Right, so what I've got here is just 2 tester pieces. I've got a scrap bit of metal from a van that we've cut a skylight out for, and then I've got some high heat contact spray adhesive. This is what I'm going to show you. So if I just put one of these on the single skin and push that on nice and firm, and then for the other one we're going to take some contact spray adhesive and we're just going to do one spray in the area where the thermal liner is going to go. Now that does need a good sort of 30 to 60 seconds just to become tacky, so we're just going to let that dry a second. Right, our adhesive is now dry, so now what I'm going to do is just peel the film off the back of this, and we're going to stick this one where I just sprayed that adhesive, and again push it down. So I've now got 2 pieces on a piece of metal. Now I did also clean this metal in isopropanol alcohol for the purpose of the test. We've got the left side, there's no adhesive on the skin, and the right side there is adhesive on the skin. Now let's try and pull them both off. So we'll try and pull off the one which has no adhesive. Okay, so a little bit of it is stuck on, but for the best part, I got it off. Now let's try the side that has the high heat contact adhesive on it. Okay, you can see the difference. On the one with no adhesive, most of it came off. It has left a little bit on, but to be fair, I did also clean it with the alcohol beforehand. This side, however, is not coming off. Now, bearing in mind, at the moment, it's October, it's quite cold in here, so the metal is cold. So another thing to consider is then when you're in the summer periods, whether in the UK or abroad, obviously it's a lot warmer. The adhesive that's on the back of this, as that gets warmer, it's going to become less effective. This is another reason why you're going to put the high temp contact adhesive on the skin where you're sticking this. Now, because it's so sticky, you haven't got a second chance. So it's important to get your piece right before you go to stick it on. So let's do that next. I've got a piece that's just a little bit oversized for this area, so I'm going to offer it into place. We're going to go over this center support here, and then we're going to bring it over to here, and I can see I need to trim it on this line here. This piece is now cut to go into here. It hasn't got to be super pretty. What's important here when you're doing this is that your single skin is covered. It doesn't matter if it goes up onto the double lip or even comes off a little bit. The purpose of this is just to get the single skin covered. Now that that's cut, we've got a high temp contact adhesive, and we're just going to spray the area where this is going to be fitted to. You don't need to go mad with it, just a single coat on it is going to be ample. Right, so that's got its coat on. We're going to give that again a couple of minutes just to dry off a little bit and tack up, and then we can stick our insulation on. So we're now ready to fit this sheet, so we're just going to remove the entire backing from this and split it along the way. Okay, come on, you bugger. Oh no, it's going to do that all the way down, innit? There we are. Get that off. Now I'm going to start in the middle, so I have marked the middle of this sheet just for here. So I'm just going to line up my top and put it on there and come down the middle. Now when you do this, it hasn't got to be super tight like going around this, okay? It doesn't matter if it's off it in the corners a little bit, if you've got a bit of air behind it, it's not a problem. What's important is on the single skin, it's stuck nice and firm. And that is that. now fitted on to that section. Now don't worry if you're a little bit over, you can trim it off, or like I said, it doesn't matter if it comes off the sides. If you are blocking holes like this, make sure your insulation, like the insulation we just put in here, is all filled in there first. Or if you do like I just did and you cut it short and I had a little bit too much showing but here, just cut a little piece, stick it in, not a problem. Now that's done, we've now got to do the rest of the walls and the ceiling, the doors, and one of the most important areas is actually the headlining. Let's get that done. And that is the thermo lining complete. So I like this stage. It starts to look like a spaceship and you know your conversion is really coming on now. So just as I mentioned earlier, make sure you fill these with your fleece and then you can just go over the top, keeping it nice and tight. All the way across, we've done the bottoms, the middles, the tops, as well as the ceiling, including the overcab section. And the most important one, because a lot of people do forget these ones initially because they're always open, and that is your doors. Now, what I will say, a little tip for you guys, if you're thermo lining an area you're going to be carpeting, don't use the aluminium tape. So we've used aluminium tape here on a join, and that's okay because we're about to put a thermo fleece on top of all this now. But if, say for example, you do the wheel arches and then you plan on carpeting it, the contact adhesive actually doesn't like sticking to this aluminium tape at all, so just be mindful of that. Speaking of the wheel arches, we've actually forgotten to do these, so we do need to get these done, but I'm going to show you the thermo fleecing and how we do it. So it's a very simple process. Now we use 3 different thicknesses of this fleece. We use the 100mm dial, which you get from B&Q, and then we use a 50mm and a 35mm, which are from Dodo. The reason we use different thicknesses is each different vans have different size cavities. So for example, on the walls of this Staccato, we know we can put 100mm on here and up the top and down the bottom. But on the ceiling, we don't have 100mm, and what will happen is if we put 100mm on here, it's going to push down on your plies. So we're going to put a 35mm on the ceiling. Some ceilings we've got to put a 50, and there are some we can get away with 100, like I think the Sprinter for example, you've got a nice deep roof rafter on that, so plenty of space to put the 100 on there. Enough waffling, let me show you how we put our fleece on the walls. Okay, so we've got our thermal fleece. The first thing I'm going to do is get the length that I want. So I'm going to just place it in the cavity, bring it over, and the good thing with this stuff is it is very, very easily. Now, the other thing we need to do now, we're back with the Trim Fix contact adhesive, and we're just gonna spray the area that's going to be going on, and then we're going to spray the back of the fleece as well. Now, just like before, we need to give that just a minute just to sort of tack off and dry up a little bit, because that's when it's most effective, and then we can place that on. This is now dried off, so we're just going to start in the corner up the top and just hold it into position as we're coming over, and that is one section. So as I mentioned earlier, you want to do your tops, your middles and your bottoms, all the cavities. We're also going to be doing the ceiling, but we said earlier we're going to use a thinner one. Make sure that insulation doesn't come past your rafters. Well, in fact, the rafters we're going to be fixing in a later video 12mm battens onto these, so you can come down a little bit. And once you've finished all your fleecing, it should look something like this. Now we've got a pocket here because that's the foot end of the bed. We're creating an internal flare, which I said I'll show you more on that later. But we've got all the bottoms are now fully fleeced, the middles, the tops, the roof, and also the doors. Now, what we haven't done any of these crevices and pillars, because the next job is actually the first fix electrics. We leave these because some of the cables actually run through these. The next video is going to be about the cabling side of things. Obviously, once then we've run those cables, we will go back on ourselves, and all the little offcuts we've got from sort of making all this nice, we will use them then to fill in all the pillars. So join us on the next video. We've enjoyed this one, guys, and it's been helpful. See you again.